Hello and welcome to episode 17 of the franchise.
Yeah.
It's October, the spookiest month of the year.
Yep.
And that's why we're covering... Well, it would have made more sense to do Halloween, right?
Yeah, probably.
But we're not.
Oh, you got to introduce yourself first.
Oh, I'm your host, Daniel Ehrenberg.
And I'm your host. There you go.
I love that. I love that joke.
I was waiting all morning to do that.
I bet. That's a good one. The great... What is that guy's name?
Harry Manfredini.
Oh, yeah. He's done a lot.
Which in Italian, Manfredini stands for Bernard Herrmann.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah.
Well, no, we won't. We're covering Friday the 13th, parts 1 and 2, and the score super rips off Psycho.
Yeah, no, we'll get to. I mean, we could do it now. I don't care.
It also Jaws, by the way.
Oh my God! Like right out plagiarism.
There's like legit a scene in the water where like they're worried a guy's drowning, and it just goes da-da, like what the fuck are you doing? You're not allowed to do that, movie.
Harry Manfredini.
Okay, so we're starting with Friday the 13th.
Yep.
By Sean S. Cunningham. Got a lot to say. Written by Victor Miller. Released May 9th, 1980. A budget of $550,000.
Pretty amazing. It shows.
Oh, it shows.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, boy, does it show.
But let's get to that box office.
$59.8 million.
Okay.
Yeah, so probably one of the most successful films of all time, just from a budget to box office ratio.
It has to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just... And probably of anything we've covered, it's probably, in that sense, the budget to box office ratio, right? I don't think anything is made... Even though I erroneously said last week that Fletch made 50 times its budget, that was...
Yeah, if you look...
made 5 times.
You did say that. It's
I
5
did say
times. Yeah.
Big correction. It made about six times its budget, or a little more than that. Not 50. I don't know what I was reading or thinking.
I know what you meant.
I knew you did, because that's probably... Yeah, that's why we both didn't say anything. But this movie... made more than 50 times its budget.
That's true. And, hey, man. Yeah, I think, like, Halloween and the Blair Witch Project are on that list, if you look at it. Like,
oh, yeah. Well, no, I meant what we covered.
No, I know that. But, it's interesting. It's almost always horror. Like, because these horror movies are fucking dirt cheap, usually. Or they should be. Fuck you, Scream, with your $40 million budgets.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Well, each actor in this movie got paid, I think, a lunch pail. And a free cabin.
Oh, my God. The things these actors must have done to get these roles.
I'm looking at you, Baconator.
It makes me gag.
Now, he done Animal House, Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, no, Bacon's fine. I'm talking more about the ladies.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I figured.
Bacon's objectified in this movie, though. There's one shot in this movie that is just like Bacon in a bathing suit, and it's like a close-up right of his dick.
Yeah.
And the bulge in this bathing suit, it's like he was fluffed before the scene.
Oh, we're in that nice old Speedo.
Yeah. Oh.
Provided by Manfredini Company. Provided
by Sean S. Cunningham, probably.
Provided by the Sean S. Cunningham Bathing Suit Company.
Whoo, boy. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. So this movie was hugely successful. It's number 18 at the box office in 1980 on a $550,000 budget. It is, I wrote down again, like, the movies that are just around it on the list, you know?
All right, let's go. Let me give a stab.
Oh, you're not gonna get any of these.
No,
I don't think so. It's so weird. Like around like number 18 in 1980.
Nah, you're right. You're right.
Odd movies.
You're right, because the movies I would say would have been like in the top 10.
Right.
I was gonna say like Empire Strikes Back.
Yes, which is number one by over $100 million.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Was The Shining in there, if you recall? Do you remember? I know you didn't write it down.
I don't think it was like in the top 5. I just sort of glanced at the top 5 and then wrote the movies that were around.
Okay, so tell me what's around it.
Okay, so it is just above the 3 films it is ahead of. Brubaker?
Oh, the car salesman?
I don't really know what that is.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
I've heard of it, yeah. Little Darlings?
Okay.
And Brian De Palma's Dressed to Kill.
I love that movie.
Me too.
I love it.
Better movie.
Yeah, by a bit. Yeah, Brian. Okay, yeah, I'm all right. Good for Brian De Palma. Made the top 20.
Sure.
But that's a weird movie.
It is a weird movie.
That would have done that well. All right, go ahead.
And it is just below Caddyshack. Cheech and Chong's next movie.
Oh boy.
Yeah, not one of their best. Not their worst though. I'm looking at you, Corsican Brothers. Do those qualify as a franchise?
Cheech and Chong? Yeah. I don't know. I guess.
Maybe Up and Smoke and Still Smoking we could cover.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I've never been into those, so I don't. But I guess they are.
They were on Comedy Central tons when I was a kid. Yeah. And Seems Like Old Times. So a lot of Chevy Chase again.
Oh, yeah. Seems Like Old Times. Sure. A lot of people love that movie. I'm not one of them. Yeah. Charles Grodin.
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn, I think?
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah.
So Friday the 13th became a movie from 2 different directions. The director and the script. And the script was by this fellow, Victor Miller. It was an original screenplay titled A Long Night at Camp Blood. Yeah.
That's a good title.
I actually think it is a good title.
Okay.
Meanwhile, there's this guy, Sean S. Cunningham, and he's decided there should be a horror movie called Friday the 13th. He thinks that'll be a big hit.
Right.
And it's because Halloween came out a few years earlier. Like
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Friday the 13th is a ripoff of Halloween.
Yeah, let's just get that over with.
And Sean Cunningham's a shitty director. Like, the entire movie is just POV shots where, like he saw that in Halloween and he was like, that's cool.
Can I set up the plot?
Sure.
Okay. Henry doesn't usually set up the plot here. I'm speaking in the third person like Nixon.
There's a Richard Nixon reference in this movie. Oh, no, that's in part 2. Excuse me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. These movies bleed together, no pun intended.
Yeah, they sure do.
Mm-hmm.
Camp Crystal Lake, 1958. 2 kids are screwing. A kid drowns, or so we think. And 22 years later, they reopen Camp Crystal Lake, and there's a killer loose. That's the plot. This also, like Halloween, doesn't even change the locate. Did you notice that this is supposed to be in New Jersey?
Yeah.
Well, see, I didn't know that, and I saw the cemetery just says something like something New Jersey, and I was like, boy, we didn't even change from Halloween. We didn't even get out of New Jersey.
Halloween doesn't take place in New Jersey.
Yes, it does. Haddonfield, New Jersey.
Haddonfield, Illinois, my friend.
Haddonfield, Illinois. Holy shit, you're right. You know why? That's so sad, because I love Halloween and I know it really well, and you know what? It's because there is a Haddonfield, New Jersey.
Oh, okay. So that's just
so I'm conflating reality with okay. All right, so we did go to a different state. All right, well, that's good.
We're in Jersey. Not that
I'm very
movie looks anything like Jersey.
No, it doesn't look anything like anything. But very proud that Illinois got Halloween and New Jersey got this.
So I'm a big fan of the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah.
And part of that is because I love the format. I like the random groups of teenagers getting killed.
Right.
And the problem with the first one is the teenagers are so ill-defined. Like, you can't tell them apart. Like
No, not really.
The thing the later movies in the series do is they either make them weird, or they give them backstories, or they just make them archetypes, which is kind of what the second one does.
Yeah.
And the first movie doesn't bother to do that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's a bad script, badly directed, but it's still kind of fun just because the Friday the 13th formula fucking works.
Right. It's fun now. Like now, and you know what? I'll give these movies, at least the first two, and I'm sure this continues. You'd know more than me. Boy, is it nice and short.
Oh, they're all pretty short. Yeah.
Wow. It's a great length because it kind of gets right out of there. I mean, we'll get to it when we get to the second one in terms of pacing and
yeah, we will.
All that. But this
one's 95 and part 2 is 89.
Yeah, this one's too long.
You think 95 minutes is too long for this movie?
Yeah.
I really don't. I just think they waste a lot of time in those first 25 minutes.
Yeah. But since we're into it, we covered the plot. Those POV shots, man.
Well, we should just say straight off the bat, people know this series for Jason Voorhees, who is the killer in every other movie in the series.
Right.
He becomes a supernatural monster at a certain point.
Right.
But in this one, Jason's the kid that died in 1958.
Right.
And the killer, after a series of red herrings, turns out to be Jason's mother, Mrs. Voorhees. Pamela Voorhees? Do I have that right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah. And, she's like this delusional, crazy person who, listen, she hates counselors and she hates fucking. So she's on this campground. Oh, are there counselors fucking? They're dead.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yeah. So
did you read about Betsy Palmer's how she did research doing this character?
yeah, she's all, listen, I subscribe to the Stanislavski method, and that was amazing.
She had Jason out of wedlock, and
so
she was already very damaged.
Yeah, she wrote herself a little character history. Even though the whole movie is POV, so she really is only in the last 10 minutes.
Hey man, that doesn't matter. You need to have the Stanislavski method when you are in anything.
I can't stand shit like that.
You have to get into the character.
I understand that works for certain actors, and it's fine if you're Daniel Day-Lewis or something. But I read an interview this week with Gabby Hoffman.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she's on Transparent
Transgender.
now.
Oh, transgender. Sorry.
Yeah, which is a very good show, but
I don't watch it.
But she said, there was a quote in that article where it's when I'm acting, it's like I'm blacked out. I don't even know what I'm doing.
Come on.
And it's fuck yourself. You memorize the dialogue, you say the lines.
Jesus Christ. Only actors can get away with that shit, Like any other serious artist, like a painter or a composer, I don't remember doing it. It was
Painters say that.
Yeah, but it's bullshit.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
it's bullshit for actors too.
Yeah, right. Well, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's I wasn't conscious of what. Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, you're on an Amazon Prime show.
I don't know what that means.
That's what Transparent's on, buddy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
wins Emmys.
It deserves the Emmys.
Yeah.
It's a really good show.
All right.
I will say that it wins comedy Emmys, and I'm 4 episodes deep into the new season, And that shit's a drama. The last episode I watched ended with a fucking character committing suicide.
Was it a funny suicide?
No! It's a deeply sad suicide.
Right.
All right. So, this one, they're reopening Crystal Lake, right? So it's just like a bunch of counselors convening at this campground, trying to like do the finishing touches on this camp before everyone, the campers are meant to come in a few days or something, right?
Yeah. A lot of finishing touches.
Yeah, but this movie only takes place over the course of a day, so we never see the campers.
No.
You really never see campers in any of these fucking movies.
You didn't see him in the second one either.
No,
yeah.
no. Well, the second movie's plot is so weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we open... It's such a weird structure. So there's a thing in horror movies. There's an archetype that they call the final girl. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm, I think so.
Yeah, it's just sort of... There's always, like, the most pure character in the movie is the final survivor.
Hmm.
Yeah, and so in the Scream movies, it's, Neve Campbell. She's the final girl.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So, right. This is like the only girl in the movie who isn't having sex or something.
But the structure of this movie is so weird, because we open on a girl named Annie.
Right.
And you think she's going to be the final girl.
I did, because I hadn't, let's put this out there. I haven't seen this movie in its entirety in fucking ages. So I really remembered very little. So... For all I thought that she was it.
No, but then she's the first one that dies. But it's not like a Drew Barrymore death where she dies in the opening scene. It's just sort of she's around for like 20 minutes.
Right.
And then she dies. And so the next people we meet after Annie, we cut to this car. And it's like Kevin Bacon with gloriously feathered hair and his girlfriend, and that's her only character trait. And then this jokester.
Yeah.
He's a real prankster.
He is. He's up for a lot of laughs. He's a fun guy. Not funny, but a fun guy.
His name is Ned.
Yeah,
that lets you know he's funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ned.
And then those characters end up dying. And it's like, who are the important characters in this movie? So we finally get to the campground, like a half hour in.
Yeah.
And we meet this girl. I don't remember her name. Allison?
Yeah, Alice.
Alice. Is that it?
Yeah.
Do you know that for sure?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because she's in the second one, and
no, I know that, but she turns
I heard
out,
it enough times.
She turns out to be the final girl. But she's, like, introduced pretty late, and she's not that interesting. And her boyfriend is, like, some random guy. You would expect if the final girl is not Annie, then maybe it's the one who's dating Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, well, I never even got the I never even understood if he was her boyfriend. I couldn't figure that out. It seemed just like they were flirting.
It was, because, like, you get that scene of, like, the camp director being a real perv to her.
Oh my God, yeah.
And she just takes it, because that's what you do in 1980.
That's right. That was confusing to me, too, in the beginning, because I was like, oh, is there I was, like, completely confused. And then I realized, oh, no, he was just sexually harassing her.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but then you see her walk away, and she talks to this dude who she actually finds handsome or whatever. But he dies, too, right? There's only one survivor.
Well, everybody dies. Yeah,
except for this Alice lady.
Yeah.
But she seems so unimportant. Like, you'd think they would introduce her earlier.
Yeah, well, we're not exactly dealing with Herman Mankiewicz here, right in the screenplay.
No, you're dealing with Victor Miller. You know what he went on to do?
What?
Big-time soap opera writer.
Oh, yeah, I saw that credit.
He's like the head writer on, like, All My Children and Guiding Light and shit.
Well, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Kind of, but, I mean, those shows require structure, and this movie's got none.
Right.
You know what else he wrote, by the way? His other, like, big movie credit, which I find hilarious?
What?
Pauly Shore's Jury Duty.
Get the fuck out of here.
I swear to God.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
I don't know. Listen, Cunningham and Victor Miller are never to be seen again in the series because there's not a lot of repeating writers and directors in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the series. I think there's only one repeating director.
Steve Miner.
Yeah, and we'll get to him.
Right. But I have a question for you then. Cunningham, it was such a big hit. What happened there? Why not ask him back?
Well, he didn't want to come back. I think he
was. Right. You're right.
So the weird thing about Cunningham, what's his name? Stephen S? Sean S.
Sean S.
Yeah.
Sean S.
And he sort of disavowed the horror genre after this. Like, he came up with the idea for a horror movie called Friday the 13th. He obviously worshipped at the altar of John Carpenter.
Right.
But then he, like, disavowed the horror genre because of the violence and sex and shit. And, like, it's weird because he directed one of the seminal horror movies. Like, this movie is significant in the history of horror.
Right.
And then, like, the horror fan community is so close-knit, and they just never embraced the guy because he talked shit, basically.
Right.
Like, you watch that series, remember they had that show Masters of Horror on Showtime? That was like an anthology series where they would have different classic horror directors.
That's on DVD right now, I think, right?
A lot of them are, yeah. They sell a lot of them individually. But they'd have, like, actual Masters of Horror. Like, John Carpenter did 2 of them. One of them is good. Sigrid Burns. Check it out. But then, like, you'd get episodes, like, most of the episodes, you'd tune in, and it's like, who's this guy? Oh, he directed Child's Play 3? All right, I guess he's a master of horror. Like, all these horror nerds just love horror movies. And so if they directed, like, anything they've seen, they're like, yeah, fucking awesome. Let's use that guy. But Sean Cunningham, who directed the first Friday the 13th movie, like, he was never on that fucking show.
He's blacklisted.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Can I read you something? Did you read that thing about Siskel and Ebert?
Well, they hated these movies.
No, but, like, it's insane. I'm going to read you something real quick.
The thing Siskel did?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, talk about that.
He'd be arrested if he did this today.
Oh, my God. He'd never work again.
Yeah. This is from Wikipedia. The film's most vocal detractor was Gene Siskel, who in his review called Cunningham, quote, one of the most despicable creatures ever to infest the movie business, end quote. He also published the address for Charles Bluhdorn, the chairman of the board.
By the way, a guy who probably loved Roman Polanski, Gene Siskel. All right, so, sorry, keep going.
Good point.
Yeah.
Charles Bluhdorn, the chairman of the board of Gulf Western, which owned Paramount.
Posted his address.
Yeah, published the address for this guy, as well as Betsy Palmer's home city, and encouraged fellow detractors to write to them and express their contempt for the film. And Ebert and Siskel spent an entire episode of their show berating their films because they felt that these types of slasher films would make audiences root for the killer.
Well, you do, but who cares?
Right.
You know what, bro? That's cyberbullying.
Right. He published I mean, that's insane.
Can't do that.
And, I'm thinking about it, and I was thinking of the movie, and, is it the total lack of artistry that makes the film, to him, reprehensible? Like, because it clearly, I mean, like, Last House on the Left, that, to me, is... not to sound puritanical, but that's a pretty reprehensible film.
You're like Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah, I mean, these are films that are just cruel films. They're just made to shock, and they're made for no apparent purpose except they're just made out of, like, meanness. And, like, this is just not that. I mean, this is just silly.
It's a slasher movie.
It's so fucking silly.
It's just a less artful Halloween.
Right.
But I would think a film critic would be interested in the fact that a $550,000 movie could be such a mainstream success.
Maybe that's what pissed him off.
What, that it like got out of the gutter somehow?
Sure.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the fucking perviness of this movie is far more reprehensible than the violence.
Yeah.
The violence is fairly artful at times.
And it's like very cartoony. And they cut away a lot. You don't even really...
Yeah, like, there's a ton of off-screen deaths in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't realize
sucks.
that. Yeah, I didn't... That sucks. Yeah.
It does suck. I want to see on-screen blood.
Mm-hmm. Well, they take care of that later. But, yeah. I'll read one of my notes here. Okay. We're just having fun now.
Well, I just want to say, like, the guy who's responsible for the gore.
Oh, for sure. I'll let you say
he's like the one guy that made it out of this alive with a career, except for Kevin Bacon.
Right.
But yeah,
two final girls.
yeah. The final girl in this movie is Tom Savini, the makeup artist who had previously worked with George Romero, and he did Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead. Huge. Yeah, he goes on to do Maniac and Creepshow, and he even directed the Night of the Living Dead remake from like 1990, and which isn't a bad movie.
I remember that one. I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the first one is what I just think of, but I did see the remake. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, this is a guy that's been very influential in the sort of makeup effects field. I believe Greg Nicotero, who directs a lot of episodes of The Walking Dead now, has cited him as an influence.
For sure.
Yeah. So, let's give a sweet shout out to Tom Savini.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tom Savini.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say a couple things. Because I hadn't seen it in so long, I completely forgot how low budget this movie was. Like, that really took me by surprise. Like, I just did not remember that it was so evident in every shot that they had like $1 to do everything. And it also shows you the utter lack of skill of the director for not being able to really do much of anything.
There were times where he used natural light well, and they location scouted well enough that some of the scenery was good looking. Like the shot at the end with Alice on the canoe is really nice.
That's a good shot.
With the foliage in the background.
It's a good shot. I do have a note here, related but unrelated. I wrote during the movie, there is nothing appealing about camping in the woods.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. That's just a side little combo here, but I have never. I think it's horrible. I've never done it, and I never want to do it. What the fuck is appealing about it? You have heat, snakes, bugs, itchy grass, black lakes. I mean, what is appealing? It's awful. Give me a beach house at the shore.
No, I agree with that. I don't know about camping in the woods. I can't really see myself doing that. But camping in general, I think, is okay.
Not for me.
I went to old Bonnaroo a while back, and I had, that was like a great experience. Yeah, I was camping.
Yeah, I have no desire. Like, I'm not looking at this movie going, that looks like fun. Forget the slasher walking around. I mean, that's like the highlight. There's a fucking snake that they cut into 3 pieces. Remember that shot?
Yeah, and they
probably a real snake.
I had the same thought. They're not paying for rubber snakes.
That's totally a real snake. There's no way it is.
Oh, a snake died in the making of this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe a couple.
Bad.
Not a couple. They had one take for that.
They couldn't afford a snake wrangler. There's no way.
Oh, no way. They totally found that in the woods and just killed it. And then there's a close-up of the guy who kills it at the end, and he's like, it's like bloodlust. And I think that was supposed to be like, oh, was this guy the murderer? And the weird thing about watching this series, especially this movie, is they they try to make it a mystery who the murderer is, but I can see how that might have worked, like, for people in 1980. But as someone who grew up where there's, like, 10 of these fuckers, like, right. You know it's Jason's in 2 and the mom's in the first one. And so right. It's like every time they try to set it up where it's like, ooh, where's the camp director left the grounds. I wonder where that guy went. It's like, no, it's not him. It's Jason's mom.
And
Sorry.
It's not, and it's, maybe the red herring of the old man who keeps coming up and saying, "You're doomed."
Oh, you're doomed. Yeah. Crazy Ralph. Ralph the creepy townie. Don't go up there. It's got a death curse.
He literally talks like that. He sounds like, when I was a kid, I went to Disney World, and we went, I remember the ride, the Haunted Mansion, and when you're going inside, it goes, "Welcome to the Haunted Mansion." And that's exactly how this guy talks. You are doomed.
Do you like the movie The Haunted Mansion as much as you like The Golden Child, Henry?
I will not sit here and let you rip on The Golden Child, my friend. I will have backup on that somehow. I don't know how.
I haven't heard any yet.
When we're when we get to Beverly Hills Cop franchise, I'll get to talk about The Golden Child.
Yeah. So basically, red herrings don't work once you know what a franchise is.
Right.
Yeah.
My favorite part of the movie was the continuous bludgeoning of Betsy Palmer of Pamela Voorhees.
Yeah.
The false deaths are fucking hysterical. Like, they are.
What do you mean?
Okay, so Adrienne King, the Alice character, she,
Was that the actress you just cited?
Yes.
No, sorry, we're not citing actors and actresses in these movies.
Well, she's my MVP, so.
Okay. Hey, I'll get this right out of the way. My MVP is Ned the Jokester.
Yeah, I thought he might be.
Yeah.
So she, hits her on the head a couple times. Betsy Palmer does her Stanislavski dying act, which is really convincing.
Yeah.
She went to a dark place, man, to do that, And then she gets up again, and then Adrienne King hits her again, and then leaves again, and then she gets up again, and she hits her again, and she just won't finish the job, this girl.
But then when she does, it is glorious. She chops that bitch's head off.
She chops off that head in slow motion with Betsy Palmer probably having enough time to react to duck, but, that's okay.
It's the best.
It is quite a shot.
It really looks good.
Now, did Betsy Palmer, because she's so committed to the Stanislavski method, did she actually allow herself to be decapitated and then have her head reattached after the movie?
Oh, is that why I've never heard of Betsy Palmer?
She was an actress in the 60s and 70s, very wholesome. I did a little research. Very wholesome.
Well, was she in anything of note?
No.
I feel like she was like one of these actresses, you looked them up on IMDb, and they were like in 2 episodes of Ozzie and Harriet.
Yeah, she's in, here's her thing. She's in a bunch of movies with a lot of big, big people. But she's not one of those big, big people. But
yeah, again in this one with Kevin Bacon.
My parents knew who she was.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe my parents will.
I was talking about it briefly with them, just joking around, and I said Betsy Palmer, and they go, "Oh my God, yeah, of course." And I was like, "Really?"
Yeah. All right.
One of my other notes, and we'll get back to the glorious decapitation scene. Can we talk briefly about the Kevin Bacon sex scene, which goes on?
We don't have to talk briefly about it. It's a great scene. I wrote down the time code. That's how into that scene I was. One of my notes is, at 37 minutes, Bacon fucks. Bacon slips that sausage.
I mean, they show the whole act to completion.
It is. I mean, there is an element of porno, especially in these early ones. Like probably the first like, really the first like 8. I was gonna say 4, but now I'm like remembering shit from later movies.
Yeah, this scene is actual like pornography though. It's like there's everything in there.
He's fucking this girl, and we pull up and we see that the jokester Ned has died off screen, and he's just in the top bunk above them.
Yeah,
and they're banging. They don't smell anything. They didn't notice him up there.
No.
Meanwhile, we're cross-cutting with a game of strip Monopoly that's happening in the next cabin over. By the way, that is where the Richard Nixon reference comes in.
Oh, what is the joke?
Someone during the strip Monopoly game goes, "You're having the worst run of bad luck since Richard Nixon."
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Right, wow. 6 years after his resignation, we're making Nixon jokes. That's all right. It was still very much in the zeitgeist, so I get it.
Public consciousness.
Absolutely.
And then we cut back over to the next cabin. Bacon's done, man. This girl's all full up.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. And then Bacon starts smoking some weed. Right? He pulls out the weed. And then he just gets an arrow through the neck from under the bed.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I like about these Friday the 13th movies. You know, Michael Myers from those Halloween movies. He's a purist. He wants a kitchen knife.
That you're right, but he's creative too. I thought you were going to say they're creative deaths because he's very creative too.
He's creative, but he's got that. He's got one tool.
That's true.
And that's a kitchen knife. Even in that second Halloween movie, you like see him. He's like lost his knife at the beginning of that thing. So he like sneaks into a house and just like steals a knife from the kitchen of this elderly couple.
Oh wow, I don't remember that.
Yeah.
And he leaves them alone.
Yeah, he doesn't even kill him. He's just like, I need a knife.
I need a knife. That's my MO.
But these movies, they all take place on campgrounds.
So she's got arrows and fucking pitchforks and rakes.
Yeah.
All kinds of shit.
There's so much arrows in these movies. Like there's always like early on in a movie, like early on in these movies, like one of the like counselors will say something about like, and we've got like an archery range, and that's code. That's code. Someone's getting an arrow through the face later in this movie.
I actually thought that, since I didn't remember the deaths, I remembered Kevin Bacon's death. That spear through the bed was hard to forget. When it happened, I was like, yeah!
Plus, it's the Kevin Bacon death. It's the same thing, like everyone, like the death they remember in Nightmare on Elm Street is the Johnny Depp death.
Oh, okay.
Because they're the famous person.
Right. Well, no, but I didn't remember it was him. I just remembered someone gets a spear through the bed mattress.
Oh, okay.
But I see what you're saying. But what the hell was? Oh yeah, I thought someone was going to get like shot onto the archery board. You know, I thought that I was waiting for that. You know what I mean?
I believe
a little disappointing.
I believe he uses a bow and arrow at some point in the series.
Good.
Look forward to that.
I will.
Yeah.
I thought there'd be a bullseye shot, and I didn't get one. But I did get a bullseye shot of a lot of tits.
Oh, my God. I mean, and forget it. You don't even have to take the shirts off. There is not a bra to be found in these movies.
Campgrounds don't supply female underwear. And I did write lots of tits, and over the eye, I dotted it with a circle.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
It was fun. You know, you don't usually get to dot your eyes with a circle, so I was like, hey.
There's a notable amount of nudity in these movies, and there's even more in the second one.
Yes, yeah.
By a lot, kind of.
We can kind of move on to it.
Let's do it. So this movie ends with Alice is like the lone survivor. She's the final girl.
Finally decapitates.
She's a real Mark Wahlberg. And,
She's a real shooter.
Yeah. She decapitates Mrs. Voorhees there.
She's a fighter.
Yeah, she gets in a canoe.
I can keep going.
All right, yeah.
No, that's all right. She's one of the final three kings.
She was feeling fear. She gets in a canoe.
Other guys.
fucking hell. And she's in the middle of the water, and then the police see her or whatever. And then a little boy jumps out and grabs her. But, like, was it real? Was it a dream? Who the fuck knows? And so the implication is that this Jason kid has been alive this whole time, which is really stupid in terms of the series and wasn't in the original script. Like, A Night at Camp Blood or whatever it was called was too good for that twist. But because it doesn't make sense. Like, Mrs. Voorhees is avenging her son, and the son's watching the whole time. So why doesn't the son just go to his mom and say, like, "Hey, I'm alive"?
Maybe the mother doesn't know that he's alive. Maybe he's been living in the woods like a feral child this whole time.
Well, he has, but I understand the mom doesn't know he's alive, but why would he tell her he's alive?
Well, I don't know. He's got problems, physicality being one of them.
Yeah, he certainly does. I mean, whatever. It's stupid for the first movie, but it's smart for the longevity of the series.
Of course,
because ultimately Jason's a pretty baller serial killer.
Yeah, he's no Michael Myers, but yeah. We'll get into that.
Okay. I mean, no, he doesn't have the depth of Michael Myers, but he's scary and cool.
No, I agree. I don't think he's particularly scary, but I think he's a cool.
I think he's legit scary at times.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
We'll see if that happens to me later.
I also kind of don't think these movies are trying to scare you that much. Like,
I think Cunningham was.
Oh, Cunningham was for sure. But I think at a certain point in the series, they're just trying to be fun.
Yeah.
Like, fun and scary, but fun.
Yeah.
And, okay, so we get to part 2.
Wait. MVP, LVP.
Oh, good point. Stars.
R rating.
I'm going to give it 3.
I almost gave it 3. I'm going 2.
Okay.
It's a high 2.
It's absolutely fair.
Yeah. But my MVP's Adrienne King.
Mine's Ned.
Right. I'm giving it to Adrienne King because while not a great actress, she's really trying. I could see some effort going in there, and she does become kind of appealing towards the end.
Yeah, by the end, you're kind of invested in that character. They just do such a shit job of setting her up because you don't know who you're supposed to be invested in at the start of the movie.
Right.
Is it this trio in that car? Is it Annie the hitchhiker?
Right.
No.
I love how you remember that the hitchhiker is named as Annie, but you could not remember the main girl's name was Alice.
Because I thought Annie was the main character.
LVP?
Mine
was pretty easy.
Oh, I know who mine is. It's that fella who's like Alice's boyfriend. That guy's just nothing.
I don't even remember him.
Exactly.
Yeah. Sean Cunningham is my LVP. Because it's horribly directed, no matter how much money he has.
It's bad. And it's so ridiculously derivative of Halloween.
Yeah.
You know,
I do have a superhero count.
Oh, okay. Was Kevin Bacon in something?
Yep. He's in X-Men First Class, Sebastian Shaw.
That's right, Sebastian Shaw from the old Hellfire Club.
There you go.
Yeah. I will say one thing I like about the Friday the 13th series. You know I'm a summer man.
Yeah, you are. You're summer.
Yeah, and it's really the only horror franchise that's all about the summer. Like, these are summer camp movies.
Yeah, they are.
And I'm into a summer camp movie. We'll cover Meatballs. And, but, like, you know, Halloween's a fall series. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel, you know, there's movies like Black Christmas or whatever.
Right.
April Fool's Day. They do a lot of the holidays.
Yeah, they do.
I don't know. Most of them aren't summer. That's kind of what I like about I Know What You Did Last Summer, too.
Yeah.
There's like a warm summer vibe.
So this is a nice heat-infested not roach. What am I doing? That's New York coming out. Snake-infested, lovely summer movie.
Yeah, but it's a lot of sunbathing, a lot of going on long walks in the sun.
You got that right.
Sure. Yeah, you're smoking outside on a deck.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I like these movies.
Yeah, I like that. I'd like to be able to do that.
I like the aesthetic. All right, Friday the 13th Part 2 comes a year later, and that continues for a lot of the 80s.
Right.
And one of the weird things about this series is, like, all these movies were, like, hits, but it's like they never planned ahead. Like, all the movies are so disconnected from one another that it's like they'd make the movie, and then the next year they're like, oh, we got to make another one. What do we do?
Right.
Like, they never thought to, like, oh, what could the next one be if this one does well?
Right, there's no preparation at all.
None at all. Like, these movies were rushed to theaters, every single one of them.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah. Part 2, directed by Steve Miner, written by a fellow named Ron Kurz, released April 30th, 1981.
Less than a year later.
Less than a year later. A lot of these got, like, pre-summer release kind of a thing, too, because, like, you don't want to compete with the big boys, but, like, high school kids, like, will go see a horror movie in, like, the spring. Smart. Budget, got a bigger budget, not by much, $1.25 million.
Yeah, but it shows that little bump to me.
It looks, also Steve Miner's a way better director.
Yes. Agreed on both fronts.
Yeah.
It really does show.
And the box office at $21.7 million. So it actually makes way less than the first one. But with that budget, it's a hit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So, could we get... Oh, wait, actually, in a second. I'll do the box office thing first.
Sure.
And by the way, they considered making Friday the 13th an anthology kind of a thing.
Yeah, I read that.
John Carpenter also did with Halloween.
Right.
And then they ultimately just decided to make it a continuation and have Jason be the killer.
Right.
Yeah, which, good move. It's number 35 on the box office of 1981.
Ouch.
You want to know what it's around?
Obviously, it's around Raiders of the Lost Ark, number 37.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just ahead, did slightly better than The Final Conflict, Omen 3.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we'll cover that at some point. The Incredible Shrinking Woman, and Mommy Dearest.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's funny. Wow.
And it's just behind a movie called Ghost Story. You ever hear of this?
I don't know.
I looked it up. It's a movie in 1981 starring Fred Astaire.
Okay.
Why would that exist?
I don't know. Is it a tap dancey horror movie?
It looked like a fucking ghost story.
Maybe it is.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like The Others starring Fred Astaire.
Yeah.
It's also just behind Body Heat.
Oh, love that movie.
Yeah. And Escape from New York.
We're going to get to that.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Body Heat also featuring a character named Ned.
I wouldn't know that.
Man. I remember. I wouldn't have, but when you said about him being named Ned, and that's already funny, I thought of two other Neds. I didn't feel the need to mention it, but now I will. Yeah. William Hurt's character's name is Ned, and in Three Amigos, Martin Short's character is Ned Niederlander.
And in Superman, Otis's actor's name is Ned.
Your favorite Superman?
Yeah.
All right.
Also, by the way, Halloween 2 just ahead of this, like, made a little bit more money.
Oh, was that? Oh, okay. I always thought that was 1980. Okay.
No, 81.
Just a little ahead of this?
Yeah, not by a lot.
Boy.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
I want to get straight into Steve Miner, who's had one of the weirdest careers of any director we've covered.
Oh, all right.
Do you know much about this guy?
Well, I looked him up a little bit, sure.
I wrote down some
he directed
significant
House.
Things. He did.
I remember. Yeah, go ahead.
He's directed he has some of the weirdest credits.
All right.
So one of them is Friday the 13th Part 3. He's the only returning director in this series.
Right.
Part 3D, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got my 3D glasses ready when I watch it.
I actually legit do.
You do?
The DVD came with 3D glasses.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but you don't have a 3D TV or anything. You can't really.
Yeah, go watch them with these glasses, man.
Watch it with the glasses anyway.
I'm not doing that.
No, you should just put them on.
You can tell when the 3D comes, I promise.
Yeah,
I believe you get an arrow straight at the screen.
Sweet. No, you should look like the character in Back to the Future, the 3D glasses kid.
Oh, sure, MVP. Okay, so after Friday the 13th, he goes on, he directs House, which was kind of a big horror movie. Mm-hmm. He does Soul Man, that movie where C. Thomas Howell pretends to be black.
Yep. I remember that.
Ooh, boy. Then, the Wonder Years pilot.
Yeah, I'm with you now. I got him up now. Yeah, wow.
The Wonder Years pilot. And then a bunch of episodes. Which is a great pilot. And then Forever Young with Mel Gibson.
Oh, yeah. Ooch.
Yeah,
okay.
But that was a big movie.
Yeah, it was. I remember it, yeah.
Then he directs My Father the Hero. Do you remember that movie?
That's Gerard Depardieu.
Yeah, Depardieu takes his daughter, played by a young Katherine Heigl.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, on like a beach vacation, and she's got these friends, and they all find her dad sexy. And then she asks,
it's science fiction?
And then she asks her dad, Gerard Depardieu, if he'll pretend to be her boyfriend on this trip. And he does.
My God.
It's a super weird movie.
Wow.
It's gross.
That is. I mean, what was Katherine Heigl, like 12?
I think she was like playing 16 in the movie or something.
Because I remember her being stunned when I saw Under Siege 2 Dark Territory.
Ooh, she's in that?
It was on TV like a couple years ago, and I was just kind of half watching it.
Is she his daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I was like,
right.
oh my God, it's Katherine Heigl. Wow.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, she had a career.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
He directed Big Bully, that movie where like Tom Arnold just shits all over Rick Moranis for the entire movie.
I don't remember that one at all.
Yeah. Then he directed Halloween H2O.
Yeah, that's funny. And Lake Placid.
Yeah, Lake Placid. Halloween H2O, by the way, the third best Halloween movie.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
He directed like the first 4 episodes of Dawson's Creek.
All right.
Yeah. Which, by the way, first season of Dawson's Creek, the best season.
Yeah.
He fucking rips it up.
Now, I'm looking here and I see there's a show he directed for 1 year that only seemed to like Karen Cisco.
Sure, that was the Out of Sight spinoff.
That's why I'm asking, because I knew that was that character's name.
Yeah, Carla
J-Lo, and I'm
Carla Gugino plays the J-Lo role.
Oh, all right, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
she's great. She's great in Out of Sight, and that's one of my favorite movies. So I knew that character, and I'm looking at this, going, "What?"
That's actually a good show.
Is it?
Yeah. And now his like career has fallen off. He's basically like a staff director for ABC Family. Excuse me, Freeform. They've rebranded.
Oh, they don't call it staff director anymore?
No, they don't call it ABC Family anymore.
Oh.
Shows you what I know. Yeah.
What, that's the name of the station?
Yeah, it's called Freeform.
What the fuck does that even mean?
I don't really know. But yeah, so it's sort of like now you'll see him pop up directing episodes of like Switched at Birth.
I see he did Day of the Dead remake in 2008.
Yeah, I think that was like straight to VOD or something.
Probably,
yeah.
Okay, so that's this guy. He was also in 1972. Looks like his first credit was as a production assistant and assistant editor on Last House on the Left.
Yes, yeah, he worked with Craven for a bit there, and I think he was even like a producer on the first Friday the 13th. And then,
I believe you're right. I think.
Yeah, and then
associate producer.
Yeah, so he directed the second one after Sean S. Cunningham found the Lord or whatever the fuck. And all right, so let's get into Friday the 13th Part 2. It's got an insane plot.
Yeah.
It's 5 years later, first of all, so it's a sci-fi film. This movie came out in 1981, but apparently takes place in 1984.
Right, it's a nice touch to make it 5 years later because it's completely necessary to.
Well, it is necessary because you need Jason to
be older.
Older, yeah, because you saw him in the first one. He's a kid.
Right. Good point.
I
guess.
they screwed themselves with that ending, and so they kind of had to set it in the future.
Right. Set it in the future.
It's so weird. And so, but okay, so we're not opening a camp anymore. We're one camp over from Crystal Lake. But it's not a camp. It's a 2-week counselor training program.
Oh, I didn't catch that. I didn't catch that
at
all.
What the fuck is that? That doesn't exist. Senior counselors at summer camp have to be trained for 2 weeks?
They have to be trained on how to walk around naked and screw all the time.
And I don't think any of them are like then going to go on to the same camp. I think like it's a guy who like set up this facility and it's like, listen, we only take the best camp counselors. Only
the best.
Yeah.
Well, wait, we got to get to the beginning where my friend Adrienne King,
she pops up for a second.
She's disposed
only for a second because apparently the actress had a stalker and so she didn't want to act in movies anymore.
Boy, that's got that. You know, the stories of this shit kind of stuff is legion, but this is one of the more disturbing ones to me because, like, you make a movie like this, and then you get a stalker. Like, what's that guy thinking?
Yeah, man.
What's she doing? Like, looking out her room and seeing a guy in a hockey mask? I mean,
yeah. Then again, well, no, there's no hockey mask to be found in these first. Movies,
right.
We should say that. Like the
I was waiting for that.
The iconic image of Jason is the hockey mask, and that hockey mask doesn't show up till that third movie.
That's right.
Yeah,
and I don't even, and I'm happy to report. I think I remember how it shows up, but I'm pleased that like it's still going to be, I think, a surprise. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's just got a flour sack on his head. Yeah.
Yeah, but by the way, it's scary. I think the fucking baghead Jason is super scary. He's wearing overalls. He's living in the woods. He's only cut one eye hole in it.
Yeah, that's creepy. And the overalls is scarier than the other parts.
Yeah. He's wearing plaid. Yeah.
Probably he's wearing clothes from the dead counselors his mother killed.
That's actually probably right.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a cabin in these woods.
He does.
That is so patchwork. It's like he's just like found material over the years.
But I was impressed. I was impressed.
Yeah, but that thing's disgusting.
Yeah, but I couldn't build that.
How come no one reacted when they go into that thing? Like, that thing must stink.
I would think so. I didn't see any plumbing.
There was a toilet.
Oh, you're right. There was a toilet.
Yeah, but that thing's hooked up to nothing.
Yeah.
He's shitting in that thing and then shoveling it out.
It's an outhouse.
Yeah.
Every outhouse, hen house, farmhouse.
Yeah, but it's not in a room. It's just like it's a one room. Well, no, there's two rooms because then there's that room where he's got like a shrine to his dead mother.
Right.
It's her fucking head.
Yeah.
which might be actor Betsy Palmer's head.
Right,
and because Stanislavski, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. I read after the movie was over. Don't ask me why. I read the plot after it was over, and I didn't even know that in the beginning when Adrienne King opens that fridge and that is his mother's head.
Oh yeah.
I just thought it was somebody's head. I didn't know it was his mother's.
It's the same head we see later in the film. He trolls around with that thing.
So that's like him being like, this is your doing. You killed my mother.
This is why you're getting a screwdriver through the head.
This is your last thing you're going to see is Betsy Palmer's head.
That's right. Yeah. By the way, though, before Alice shows up in this movie, we get previously on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, you really do.
And it is for 6 minutes of an 89-minute movie.
It's long. I'm glad you brought that up. I was like, is this me or is this going on a long time?
Oh, my God. Yeah. They show, like, the entire movie.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you don't need all that exposition because there's that campfire scene later in the movie.
Right.
Where, like, the guy who runs this counselor training facility
an asshole.
explains them the Jason story.
and then says, "Oh, it's just a joke."
Oh,
another character, another real character, funny guy.
That's a thing in these movies. Every Friday the 13th movie has one guy in it that's just the prankster.
Is that the? I read that was like, or at least they take credit for saying it. So very unselfconsciously that they were the ones that started that trope.
I believe that's true.
Probably true.
There's like a character, one of like the dudes that they want to fuck in Halloween is like a little bit of one, but like this is the first time where it's like the nerdy prankster type.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and by the way, the prankster in Friday the 13th Part 2 also very good as the prankster in Christine.
He's in Christine?
Yeah, the John Carpenter vehicle.
Oh, I love Christine.
I almost like the John Carpenter vehicle, which is apropos.
God, another John Carpenter movie that I forgot was John Carpenter.
Yeah.
Jesus,
He's made a lot of great movies.
Love that man.
Yeah.
Love him. All right, anyway. So, yeah, I mean, the plot's the same, though, essentially. I mean, once we get set up at this place, it's all hell breaks loose, right?
It's the same, but it's tonally slightly different because...
Better.
It's much better, and it's got more of a plot. Like, not much, but... I mean, Jason's the killer. We're just dealing with counselors at this training facility. And it's like nighttime, and you got the option. You could stay at the camp, or you can go out.
Yeah, let's go out.
Yeah, so a few of them go out to this bar.
To look for it. Well, that, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you meant the couple that wants to go look at Crystal Lake and visit it.
And they're the first couple that we meet. There's another fucking thing where like the final girl is like a surprise at the end because you don't know who's the important character. This couple at the beginning is set up to be super important. They're like trying to get to camp or whatever, and they're friends with this jokester. Right. And at least though the final girl in this movie is given like a big intro. You know what I mean? Like she drives up in that car. It's this character named Ginny. She's a blonde girl. And she drives up in this car, and she, like, squirts the guy in the face with, like, the dust from the tailpipe or whatever.
Right.
And she's fucking the head of this thing, which is probably creepy because she's probably a teenager. And, yeah, and she's the survivor of this movie.
So they doubled down on the creepiness factor.
Yeah, we immediately kill the final girl from the last one at the beginning of this, and we set Ginny up to be like the new face of this franchise. But this franchise has a face, and it's a hockey mask.
Right.
And like none of the characters really carry over other than that.
No.
But I think they do a good job in most of these movies, like setting up characters.
Mm.
Anyway, Ginny.
867-5309. But yeah, right off the bat, it just looks better. It's better directed. You got better editing. I kind of like those flashes of white light when they do that. It kind of worked that way, I thought.
Oh, the wheelchair murder scene?
That is hilarious.
It is
oh my God.
Amazing.
I thought that guy was... I kind of, in my naivete, or trying to be naive, I kind of thought that guy wouldn't get it. I thought he'd maybe he'd live.
It's 1981. We're killing wheelchair guys.
Yeah, we don't give a shit. We're just gonna kill this fucking guy with a hatchet to the face.
Yeah, in there's
or a machete. I don't know.
It is machete. There's that line in Scream 4 where he says like the only way to survive a horror movie now is to be gay.
Right.
There was none of that in 1981.
So it didn't matter, man.
No, you could be anything you want, buddy. You're dead.
Crippled.
So there's a lot of characters in this movie. There's like a couple where like I don't know. They're all just very attractive. All the girls are just not wearing bras. All the dudes are just like cool guys.
Yeah.
You know?
And I wondered if one of Jason's weapons in this movie is that he sprays the woods with Spanish fly. Do you think that's one of his weapons? Because these are really like the horniest people on Earth.
Oh, they all want to get down.
I mean, that's it.
Even this wheelchair kid.
Oh, yeah. He's about to get some.
There is a girl that is just wet for this wheelchair guy. She goes straight up to him. She's like, "So are you going out or are you staying back at camp?" He's like, "Nah, I'm staying back at camp."
Oh, yeah, I can't walk.
And so. She's like, "Then I'll stay back too."
And then she goes, "Go ahead."
And then she says, "So, is it just your legs that don't work? What else?"
Right.
And he's like, "I do just fine, honey." And then she's like, "Oh, sweet, let's fuck."
So he's got that nice type of paraplegic who doesn't lose the ability to screw.
Also, they made him like a sad figure though, because there's one line where she goes like, "Do you think you'll ever walk again?" And he's like, "My doctors say I won't, but I think so." And it's like, you don't need to include that line. That makes me feel real bad.
I kind of thought, if the movie had a little more gumption, that he might actually get up out of that chair and try to fight Jason, but
no way, way better than that. So they're gonna fuck. She goes off. She's like, "I gotta do something real quick." She leaves.
Oh, my favorite part of the movie.
She changes her panties, which I don't really understand why. Like they're very similar looking panties.
Well.
First of all, she also says, "I'll be right back." How about Scream getting those horror tropes, right?
Yeah.
She changes her panties, then she busts out this bottle of perfume.
Oh my God! And I will, before you say it, I'm gonna say this: I've never seen that done in a movie. Maybe not in real life.
I don't think it's ever happened ever. She puts some perfume
not to get
on
personal,
her.
But
she puts some perfume on her neck. Then she reaches into her shirt, just covers her tits with perfume. Right. And then she's going to put it away. She thinks for a second.
Yep.
Shrugs.
Right.
Opens up the waistband of these new, fresh panties. And just squirts her vagina with the perfume. What the fuck was that scene? Meanwhile, wheelchair guy. What?
Right? I think it was Calvin Klein perfume.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No, I have no idea. Meanwhile, wheelchair guy. Go ahead. Wheels. I call him Wheels.
Wheels is looking for her. And he's like, "Hey, where are you, buddy?" And then Jason comes out of nowhere with a machete, chops him in the goddamn face with it, and pushes him down this long flight of stairs.
And that's just cruel.
That are outside for no reason.
Right. Well, this place is not handicap friendly, too. We should make that clear, too. This poor guy, how's he going to get around at all?
But he can handle himself. Remember, early on in the movie, she's already wet from moment one. And she's like, "Can I push you?" And he's like, "I got it, hon."
Yeah, I mean, Jason, it's one thing to kill these kids, but to push the guy down the chair, I mean, that's just Jason, like, being like, "Fuck you, I'm deformed and weird, but you're crippled, and I'm gonna show you."
That's why Jason's my man.
Yeah, he's just
Michael
got that.
Myers isn't doing that. He's done once he gets the knife through the face.
He's just got that wanton cruelty that is just, yeah. So that's a great shot, though, of him flying down the stairs.
Yeah.
And a great dummy, whoever was in that chair, flopping around.
It looks incredible. Hey, do you want me to bring down the place for a second?
Sure.
That actor died of HIV. Wheels. Listen, buddy. Gotta say the facts.
Okay.
Moving on.
I'm sorry. There's nothing funny about that. It's not funny. Fuck you, Dan. Fuck you.
I will say there's a second returning character in this movie.
Who's that?
Crazy old Ralph comes back.
Right.
To tell them they're doomed again.
Yeah.
And he is a great death because Ginny is off in her cabin about to have sex with her elder. You know that fella. And Ralph's just he's there to warn them. Right?
Again and again and again.
But he's watching. He gets distracted. He's like, "Ooh, look at this!" and then he's just staring, and Jason comes out of nowhere, just kills him.
And I kind of thought Ralph would be immune to the killing. I thought he'd be like just kind of like the specter that Jason wouldn't worry about. But
well, you think he wants to warn everybody about staying off these campgrounds, but he's fucking on them all the time.
Yeah, he can't help himself. Yeah. I like also the funniest part to me. I think it ties in a little bit to Jason, macheteing. He's still trying to find himself as a killer, using different weapons. And he's not a skilled killer, Jason. Not that skilled yet.
But what he lacks in skill, he makes up for in passion.
Yeah, I agree. He gets kicked in the balls. I mean, he's just kind of tossed
falls
around
down a couple times.
Well, he's got that one eye hole, so he can't see very well. So he falls down a lot. He's very clumsy.
There's a scene at the end where Ginny is hiding from him behind a car, and in the shot, like, her hair is clearly visible above the car. And Jason just walks by.
Yeah. You could probably get away from him if you needed to, but
tough,
who wants to? Who wants to?
So listen, but he's terrifying. And by the way, he's a lefty. He's wielding all these weapons with his left hand. That's fucking terrifying. I don't trust a lefty.
Wow, you noticed something like that?
There's a shot where it's like, he's like stabbing. Oh, it's the girl who's into the wheelchair guy. He like stabs her, and he's chopping with that left hand.
Oh.
So the last couple the other couple we haven't brought up that stays behind at the cabin, because I also want to talk about where these other fellas went.
Sure.
Is this couple, and they're. Oh, wait, no, there's other ones, too. Because right when they leave, there's that one girl who's just wearing a half shirt with no bra. And her first thought is, scary night in the woods. We just heard a campfire story about a murderer. I'm going to go ahead and go skinny dipping.
Right. Good idea.
So, full frontal nudity.
Yeah.
Then this guy steals, and full backle nudity, by the way.
I was just going to say backle.
Yeah,
I figured I'm not going to sound like an idiot, so I'll let you do that. Yeah.
And
she's the one with the short shorts earlier, right? Who gets slingshot in the ass?
Yeah, she gets slingshotted in the ass by this pervy guy, and the pervy guy comes, steals her clothes, fucking steps in like a bear trap or something.
No, it's a Jason trap.
It's a Jason trap.
Yeah.
And then he dies and she dies. But the couple I really wanted to talk about, because they're the only. There's this girl First of all, she's odd because she's got like these giant fake boobs, but she looks like she's like 13. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't think I remember who you're talking about.
Her and I think her name's Sandra, the character.
She at the bar?
No, she's the one with the blonde kid.
Oh man, I don't remember. Both casts are
well,
really.
Here's why you don't remember them. They don't have sex. They're the only couple in the movie that don't have sex, and you never see her boobs, which is an interesting choice for this particular movie.
It is, yeah.
And I'll tell you why.
Uh-oh. Oh, God. Oh, God. All right.
Halfway through the making of the movie, they found out this actress was underage. And so
my God.
Yeah, and so they had to cut that scene from the movie. There was going to be a full-on sex scene like the bacon one in the first one.
Oh,
and they had to
God.
cut it because they found out she was like 16 or something.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Holy Christ.
Yeah.
Well, they avoided some lawsuits there and some criminal activity. Jeez. Or it probably did the criminal activity.
No, they did. They did.
Yeah,
there's a weird scene where you start to see them like making out, and then there's a little bit of an awkward cut. And it's because we were about to launch into something there. And they're the couple that get like stabbed through each other. Remember? They're like,
oh, yeah. That's beautiful.
Yeah. It's pretty nice.
Hey, if you're going to go, I mean, why not be stabbed to death with your girlfriend with the same implement? You know? Joined together.
Couldn't agree more.
Yeah. Joined together. Yeah.
They came together.
They well, they might have, but that was cut, and then they so we get to see. I thought I remembered this, and I was correct that Jason is unmasked in this movie.
Oh yeah, well that's at the very end. You see him, and he looks like sort of a deformed. I don't know.
He's like a Leatherface kind of thing going on there, almost.
Yeah.
But it's him. Yeah.
It's funny because, like, you get the sense that there's something off with Jason, and then, but all that's said in that first movie is the mom goes, "He wasn't a good swimmer." And I gotta tell you, that was the least of Jason's problems.
When she said that, because I remembered the kid's deformity, I thought Betsy Palmer was going to say, like, some line like, you know, he's not like other kids or something like that. But she doesn't. Just he's not a good swimmer.
Yep.
Yeah. Throw him a life raft and he would have had a normal life.
Yeah, but these counselors were fucking.
Right. They were ignoring him.
I want to talk briefly about where the other characters go in this movie.
Yeah,
because I loved it.
Yeah.
So, like, only 3 of them decide to go out, which turns out to have been the smart thing to do. Because, by the way, the prankster goes out. He drinks like 1,000 beers, asks an old couple if there's an after-hours club. They say yes, and then we never see that character again for the rest of the movie.
Oh, really? I don't remember that.
I'm pretty sure. Am I wrong?
You could be right. Does he not get killed?
I think he survives this thing.
Boy, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Boy, these are going to be tough to differentiate the further we go on.
Oh, well, no, actually they're easier. They grow more of an identity starting with the 4th one.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. Because they sort of have their own thing. You know, it becomes like Jason goes to Manhattan.
Well, right, yeah.
Or like Jason meets Carrie, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we haven't reached the supernatural in these movies yet.
Not quite, no.
Yeah. So they go to this shitty dive bar. You see an exterior of it, and it's called the Casino.
Yeah.
And they go in. There's nothing casino-y happening in there. It's just a shitty bar.
Right.
And and they're just hanging out there the entire movie. And is it a rodeo bar? There's a guy in there with a cowboy hat, but I think we're still in New Jersey.
Yeah,
I just found it fascinating.
Yeah, you're right. It's a strange little place. Yeah.
And there's a band playing. And by the way, my favorite credit at the end of this movie, at the very end, special thanks to the Casino, and they specify this town in Connecticut where I guess they shot, and the Smoky Boys Band. I think it was just like a local band that plays at this casino. They got.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? They didn't have any money, so.
Yeah.
Hey, was this the one, or was it the first one with the diner waitress with the glasses the size of television sets?
That's the first one.
Okay. That was a great pair of glasses.
No, this one has the bar back, where that's like the prankster's hitting on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, I think she likes you.
Probably not.
Probably not. You remember he has all those beers on the table, and she's like, "You want me to take those away? I'm collecting them."
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
So that's about it, right? Ginny survives. Like, she's the final girl. Oh, well, we should say how she survives.
Yeah, go ahead.
She finds Jason's weird cabin, and the shrine to his mom.
Right.
And that sweater, that shitty, ratty sweater that she's wearing in that first movie.
Right. She tries some reverse psychology.
And like pretends to be his mom. Like, kneel down, Jason. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
And
smart thinking.
Oh, it works 100%. 100%.
It does.
Yeah, immediately. Like, she's solid. As long as you got that sweater on, you're good.
Yeah, it's like Clark Kent with the glasses, man.
Yeah, got it.
Jason's fooled. Yeah.
And, so she gets away and shit. She, like, pops him in the head or something. and then she comes back. There's this little dog named Muffin that's been missing the entire movie. There's like a knock at the door. They open the door. It's Muffin the dog.
Right.
And it's like a happy ending music starts coming up, and then Jason crashes through this window without his bag on.
Right.
Yeah, and that's basically the end of the movie.
Dream sequence?
That's explained pretty much at the start of the third one.
I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By
the way, Muffin, ugly fucking dog.
I think it's fucking adorable. You're crazy.
I don't like those kind of dogs.
I think they're so sweet.
I like beagles, like those types.
Muffin's sort of like the toy category if you're watching a dog show, you know?
Yeah, I hate that shit.
I love it. That's my favorite. I wait for that.
Oh, and Muffin had a little red herring in there, right? Because they found an animal in the woods that was all chopped up and everything, and you kind of think that's Muffin.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's when the underage girl couple goes like trolling the grounds of Crystal Lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, who's your... what do you give this movie?
I'm giving it 3.
I'm giving this movie a sweet 4. This is honestly one of my favorite ones in the series.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I understand.
It was fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was fun. It was a vast improvement in every way. Even slightly the acting, even a little bit the acting was a little bit better.
Yeah. And the characters were slightly more defined.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm giving my LVP because I didn't give it, couldn't do it last time, so I have to throw it in here because I don't know how much longer he's going to be around. I think he is around, though. To Harry Manfredini.
Oh, LVP.
The music really sucks.
Well, yeah, the music doesn't improve from the first one. There's that one good, there's the good bit.
Yeah, the kick, mama. Well, I read that it's kill, mama.
Yeah, which is fucking ridiculous. I read that too, and then I listened for that in the movie, and there's no M's.
No.
It's ha ha ha.
Right. So that's a good cue. Like, he came up with that. That's very cool. But then the rest of it is like John Williams and John Carpenter and a million other composers.
Yeah, so it's alternately derivative and generic.
It is bad, yeah. My MVP is, I have 3 MVPs.
3 MVPs?
Yeah.
You gotta choose one.
Tits McGillicuddy, Short Shorts, and Pheromones.
Are you referring to the Skinny Dipper?
Oh, no. Tits McGillicuddy is just a general thing for the amount of tits in the movie.
There's a lot of nudity.
But she could be Tits McGillicuddy. Yeah, no. Short Shorts.
I think if anyone is, it's her. Or maybe the underage girl.
And the pheromones that are flying around. No, I don't know. I MVP, honestly, those were kind of jokey ones. I guess I'll give it... I didn't write one down because I wanted to kind of do this one on the fly. On the Spanish fly. I'm gonna give it to Steve Miner.
Ooh, I love that choice.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and pick an act. Oh, I'm going Wheelchair.
Wheels? All right.
Yeah, Wheels. He's my MVP.
That's the least you can do for the guy.
R.I.P. to both the character and the actor.
Okay. I'm not... Yeah. That's the least you can do for the guy after what you said. And
openly gay actor.
Oh. Well,
yeah.
Good. Yeah. All right.
LVP?
I said Harry Manfredini.
Oh, right. Who's mine?
I don't know.
Who is mine? God. Oh, you know what? I don't like that perv guy who was like slingshotting that girl's butt.
There you go.
I don't know. I feel like that character could have been conflated. Like they could have made that the prankster, you know?
Yeah, sure.
But it was like, why would this girl ever want to fuck the prankster?
Right.
It was kind of condescending to my boy the prankster, who I always love. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So that's Friday the 13th, parts 1 and 2.